this may have not have happened if we didn't, you know,
And I still
wait.
can't believe he's here sometimes.
You see this precious little boy who's so happy all the time, and to think, you know, that you could have not made it happen is just, it's sickening.
Prenatal testing is sold to parents as the best and safest way to look into their unborn child's future and determine a quality of life. But a new report indicates the quality of the test is in serious doubt and could be costing the lives of possibly healthy kids. Following this story for us is legal analyst Heather Hansen from the law offices of O'Brien & Ryan LLP in Philadelphia. Heather, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Ed.
Here it is from the New York Times today. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine in February found that a fetal DNA test was 10 times better in predicting cases of Down syndrome than the standard blood test and ultrasound screening. 5 times better in predicting the other disorder examined, which is called trisomy 18. This is a blockbuster for parents who have been relying on prenatal testing for years.
It absolutely is. You know, the testing changes almost by the day. We used to just have ultrasound testing. Now genetic testing is really at the forefront. The problem is that the technology has not perhaps caught up to what people expect of it. So oftentimes parents are relying very heavily on this technology, sometimes when the technology isn't correct.
The volatile case here is wrongful birth cases, and state laws really go all over the place on this one, don't they?
It's such an interesting area of the law. Wrongful birth cases are where parents can sue because they have a child that they argue they would have terminated had they known that child was going to be born disabled. So you can only imagine the public policy questions that come up here. When we're talking about abortion, we're talking about the cost of raising these children. In some states, they outlaw those types of lawsuits altogether.
Now,
other states actually allow that. Oh, go ahead.
No, please continue.
Other states actually allow the child themselves to sue. So states are all over the place with regard to these types of lawsuits.
You were just going to right where I was going to. I did not understand that, or I didn't believe that the child can bring a case for wrongful life. How does that happen? How can you do that?
It's very unusual. I think that there's only 4 states, as of 2012, there were 4 states that allowed the child to bring a case. And what they're saying is, listen, if I had not been born, I would not be incurring these costs. Really, it's to pay for the medical bills that the child has as a result of the disability. The same is the case for the parents as well. There was a $23 million verdict in Florida in the early 2000s that involved this type of thing.
Heather, what I saw in this that really made me stop was that testing companies, and I did not know this, are not currently regulated by the FDA, and it would take 9 years to phase it in. We are talking about a decade of disaster here.
Well, not only that, Ed, but it's just so prevalent now. You know, we heard in the spring about how we can now have a child with 3 different parents taking mitochondria and sort of using technology to make the perfect child. What happens when that child is not perfect? How do these kind of cases explode? And when you allow people to sue for wrongful birth, there's an argument to be made that that puts doctors in a position where they actually have to be a proponent of termination. So the issues here, the religious issues, the legal issues, the public policy issues, they are just explosive.
30 seconds left. The abortion issues as well, correct?
Absolutely, because in some states there's different times of the pregnancy where you can abort. Sometimes these test results don't come back until late. So if you're trying to argue that I would have had an abortion, if your state won't allow it, your case will go out the window. So abortion is a big part of this discussion, and it's something that we need to face as a society so that these lawsuits don't just make medical malpractice cases go absolutely through the roof.
This story's not going to go away. A reminder for the viewers here, it's from the New England Center for Investigative Reporting, and the report is entitled Oversold and Misunderstood Prenatal Screening Tests Prompt Abortions. People should read this and really educate themselves, and we'll continue to follow this as well. Heather, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
Always great to see you, Ed. Take care.
Take care. Other side of the break, we're going to tackle the most controversial instance of political correctness we face every time the calendar reads close to Christmas. And we are going to beg America to stop the madness before it costs any more lives. Telling it like it is next on MidPoint.